Hello and welcome to the Day There Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocka, and you are Dead Dudes Nation. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and keeping us going. Today, we're going to kick off what is near and dear to our hearts, the world of comic books.
Yes, it's going to be part of our, original Comics 101 series where we're going to introduce the world of comics to you guys from Marvel, DC, Independence, and everything in between. First off, we're going to introduce Rocka and what brought him to the world of comics. Episode 1. So, Rocka, I'm going to give you 6 questions, and you answer them as honest as you can, and we're going to have some fun here, right? So,
fire away.
Starting off, question number 1. What made you start or get into comic books?
Well, I've always felt like I've had a great active imagination, and I wanted something to match my imagination. Even as a kid, I always playing by myself, imagining I'm in some kind of movie, and really appealing to me were the superheroes. They had powers beyond our might. We could expand ourselves through books, but what better with books with pictures? Now, I don't want to degrade this into something very elementary, but I really wasn't the most avid reader as far as novels. But once you, as a kid, go into the stores and you see colorful art on books that tell a story, and then you have these magnificent ideas about a superhero, and not just the superhero, the backstory. Those all together appealed to me, and why I went towards comic books more than I did any other books.
Awesome. Can't argue with anything you said. That is, the visual medium is just something that strikes the eye, and the color, and it's just everything's larger than life. Okay, that being said, what was your first comic that either you purchased or gifted, or at least that you remember that you had?
So I remember being given comic books, G.I. Joe, Captain America, some older ones. I had to first save money and then venture into the comic book world to find, guys out there who are similar age as me can remember back when you can spend hours at a comic book store, even a Barnes & Noble, but more for a comic book store. And this is even down the block on your convenience store. They would have a rack for comic books.
Racks.
Yeah, and you'd spin around and you'd see what you like. Avengers was always there. But definitely that ilk, and most dear to my heart at the time as a child, for whatever reason, was Batman.
Which leads into my next question, your favorite hero. Obviously, we're going to assume it's Batman. Now, what was your favorite comic, if you have one? And maybe a particular story,
So
that kind of really,
it's hard to make a top 10 or top 100 or top 1. So I'm just going to rattle off some of my of those all-time and present day. But mostly as a child, I'm talking about Batman and Superman. Then diving into X-Men, some G.I. Joe, some war. I mean, but as I got older, then Punisher really appealed to me. I think in my teens, I really gravitated to Punisher. You could call it male violent angst, teenage angst. You could call it amphetamine. Adrenaline. You could call it whatever. But I really gravitated to Punisher. Then as time went on, I really caught on to Spawn. And then Image Comics. And Image Comics was new. And then after that, into present day, I really was introduced, and I really liked Saga, and then some of the graphic novel lineages that came out, including, yes, The Walking Dead, including 30 Days a Night, including Constantine.
I sense a trend here, except for Saga. One will question that you tend to uh, prefer darker stories or characters that are more on that spectrum. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah,
That's within my wheelhouse
definitely,
as well.
definitely appealing to me is conflicted characters. Definitely, of course, the violence and the gore, the blood, um, all that. Uh, that really appeals to me more than anything. The top two things: the artwork and the storyline. I can get away for some hokey and corny dialogue, but I love stories that stay true to a very twisted and convoluted storyline. Something that is real to life in the sense that not the superpowers, but more in the sense of the drama, the moral decisions along that very dramatic kind of what do I do?
I get it. All right. Another question for Rocka. Okay. Gun to your head. Marvel, DC, or indie books. What's your favorite? We don't need to go too deep into it. Just
True to my core, DC edges out a little bit of Marvel. Marvel recently of the film age is kicking ass. DC to me is dropping the ball. But as far as characters and storyline, those two. Image has select few that really captivate me, but not all of it. And I understand it. I respect Image too because they're pro artists. And the indie world has blown up. Just like on TV, anybody could be a movie star now. Because of self-publication and easier publication, it is easier for people to, anybody, any walk of life, to just
you're not stuck to
no,
50 years of continuity that you need to
exactly.
stick to.
And
For that Batman will never die. You know that
exactly.
Superman will never die.
But I am living proof of that because Rocka and Rocka's brother have ventured into our own independent comic book world where we have our actually published in 2017 comic book line. Our comic book is Nothing Man. Yes, it's a play on the zombie world, but a spin and a twist to it that will segue into a more intergalactic fantasy world called Paradise City 3032. Shameless plug, but I'm living proof that anyone and anybody can get a comic book idea now, get it on print, get it out there, and have it available. It's right now in Comixology. The digital world has also made it accessible for anybody on any crevice on this earth, and maybe SpaceX, to go and view a comic book, webtoons, whatnot.
Let me stop you right there. That leads directly into my next question, which is, what is the future of comics?
I think with everything else, there's going to be a mainstay of people that want an actual print in hand, but you can't avoid the fact, nor should you fight the fact that the digital age is here. It's going to at some point dominate everything. As generations pass, you might have, I hope not, a phasing out of the digital comic book, and you might have an actual everything actually into an animation that anybody can watch on their device. So with that said, I'm hoping like books are not obsolete yet, but it's still enjoyable. But you have the availability to you of all types of media that you did not have prior, and also affordability.
Definitely. And last but certainly not least, what's your favorite book currently, if you have one? Would you
Favorite comic book?
Or your favorite graphic novel going on? Would you still say Saga? Would you still say?
Well, I'll leave it at this. What I'm currently been handed and my kids have handed to me now is an anime comic book, Attack on Titan, and so I have the big compendium this thick, and I'm getting through it now, and I'm absolutely loving it. So the other thing now is I'm late in life, but I have joined the anime world and the anime graphic novels and manga graphic novels. So I can't leave them out of the conversation. They've opened up another world of different type of art and different imagination and extremely dark.
Well, definitely stay tuned for that. We're going to really get into more of the anime manga world as we're both big fans of it and we're learning. So stay tuned for that. Now, that's the big 6 questions for Rocka. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for other episodes where we're going to introduce, other people we know and ask them the same scintillating 6 questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Comics 101. As usual, I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocka. You are Dead Dudes Nation. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Stay tuned. Save the whales.
Take care, guys.